Ever wonder why some of Hollywood's biggest stars never seem to settle down? We're about to uncover the secret lives of 10 Golden Age icons who loved differently than their public image suggested. These revelations might change how you see classic films forever. The cameras stopped rolling, but the performance continued. What if the real blockbuster wasn't on the silver screen, but in the personal lives of Hollywood's elite? These 5 stars lived double lives so convincing, even their closest friends were fooled. Ready to uncover the truth about your favorite Golden Age icons? Let's start with Walter Pidgeon, the dashing leading man who stole hearts in films like Mrs. Miniver and Forbidden Planet. On screen, he was the picture of masculine charm. But off-screen, well, let's just say his interests were a bit more diverse. Pidgeon had a reputation for being drawn to young men, and he wasn't shy about it, at least not behind closed doors. Then there's the enigmatic Greta Garbo. She was known for her beauty, her talent, and her famous line, "I want to be alone." But maybe what she really meant was, "I want to be alone with her." Garbo was notoriously private, but rumors swirled about her relationships with both men and women. Some even whispered about a connection between her and another silver screen siren, Marlene Dietrich. Speaking of heartthrobs, who could forget Montgomery Clift? With those soulful eyes and brooding good looks, he had women swooning in the aisles. But Monty, as his friends called him, had a secret. He often hired male companions, keeping his true self hidden from the public eye. After a devastating car accident left him scarred, Clift's struggles with his identity only intensified. Now, let's talk about Barbara Stanwyck. Tough as nails on screen, she played some of the most memorable female characters in film noir. But off-screen, Stanwyck faced constant speculation about her sexuality. She went to great lengths to maintain a heterosexual image, even marrying twice and adopting a son. But the rumors persisted, fueled by her groundbreaking role as a lesbian character in Walk on the Wild Side. And finally, we come to the ultimate symbol of feminine allure, Marilyn Monroe. The blonde bombshell who made men weak at the knees had a complicated relationship with her own sexuality. Despite her image as the ultimate male fantasy, Monroe reportedly found more emotional satisfaction in relationships with women. Her troubled past and mental health struggles added layers of complexity to her intimate connections. These stars faced incredible challenges in maintaining their public personas while navigating their true identities. Imagine living in constant fear that one slip-up could end your career. It's no wonder they went to such lengths to keep their secrets. Take Garbo, for instance. Her decision to remain silent about her personal life wasn't just about privacy, it was a survival strategy. By cultivating an air of mystery, she managed to keep the public fascinated while keeping her true self hidden. Pretty clever, right? And poor Montgomery Clift. He chose to live in New York instead of Los Angeles, hoping to escape the prying eyes of Hollywood gossips. But that decision came at a cost. It made it harder for him to form genuine relationships, leaving him isolated and struggling with his hidden sexuality. Now, remember Walter Pidgeon? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Pidgeon was reportedly linked to a man named Scotty Bowers. If you've never heard of Bowers, buckle up. This former Marine turned gas station attendant claimed to have provided sexual services to countless stars of Hollywood's golden age. Pidgeon was allegedly one of his regular clients, along with many other famous names we'll be discussing. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Scotty Bowers wasn't the only one with secrets to share. What if we told you that some of Hollywood's most iconic on-screen couples were living very different lives when the cameras stopped rolling? The next 4 stars on our list might just make you question everything you thought you knew about Golden Age romance. Let's start with the captivating Marlene Dietrich. Known for her sultry voice and smoldering looks, Dietrich was a symbol of feminine allure, but off-screen, she was unapologetically bisexual. Dietrich had affairs with both men and women, including a rumored relationship with Greta Garbo. She once famously said, "In Europe, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We make love with anyone we find attractive." Next up is Rock Hudson, the quintessential leading man of the 1950s and 60s. With his chiseled good looks and charm, Hudson was the heartthrob of millions of women. But in reality, he was living a double life. Hudson was gay, a fact he kept hidden from the public for fear of ruining his career. He even went as far as marrying his agent's secretary to maintain his straight image. Then there's Katharine Hepburn, the fiercely independent actress known for her sharp wit and no-nonsense attitude. While Hepburn had a long-term relationship with Spencer Tracy, many believe it was more of a close friendship than a romance. In fact, Hepburn was rumored to have had several relationships with women throughout her life, including a 30-year partnership with her manager, Laura Harding. Last but not least, we have Cary Grant, the debonair gentleman who defined sophistication on screen. Off-screen, Grant's personal life was complex. He lived with fellow actor Randolph Scott for over a decade, leading to persistent rumors about their relationship. While Grant never publicly acknowledged his sexuality, many close to him believed he was bisexual. These stars found creative ways to express their true selves without risking their careers. Dietrich, for instance, was known for her gender-bending fashion choices, often wearing men's suits both on and off-screen. This allowed her to subtly hint at her fluid sexuality while maintaining her image as a sex symbol. Hudson, on the other hand, relied on the Hollywood studio system to protect his image. The studios would arrange dates with female co-stars for publicity, while privately, Hudson attended secret parties where he could be himself among other LGBTQ+ individuals in the industry. Hepburn's strategy was different. She cultivated a public image as a strong, independent woman who didn't need a man. This allowed her to avoid scrutiny about her personal life while still maintaining her star status. Grant's approach was perhaps the most daring. He openly lived with Randolph Scott, passing it off as a cost-saving measure during the Great Depression. This hiding in plain sight tactic allowed him to maintain his relationship while avoiding direct questions about his sexuality. The impact of these hidden identities on their personal lives and careers was significant. Many of these stars struggled with depression and substance abuse as they tried to reconcile their public personas with their private selves. Hudson, for example, became an alcoholic later in life, while Grant experimented with LSD in an attempt to come to terms with his sexuality. But there were positive impacts too. Many of these stars used their experiences to bring depth and nuance to their performances. Hepburn, for instance, often played strong, independent women who challenged gender norms, roles that may have been influenced by her own life experiences. Our final star's story is so captivating, it might just change everything you thought you knew about Hollywood's golden age. While many icons lived double lives, this revelation stood out, reshaping our entire perspective on an era we thought we understood. Remember how we talked about stars like Rock Hudson and Katharine Hepburn finding creative ways to express themselves? Well, our last icon took it to a whole new level. Their secret was so well guarded, it took years after their passing for the truth to emerge. Are you ready to uncover the story that rewrote Hollywood history? Let's talk about Rock Hudson. He wasn't just another handsome face on the silver screen. Hudson was the epitome of the all-American leading man, adored by millions of women across the country. But behind that million-dollar smile and those dreamy eyes, Hudson was hiding a part of himself that he feared would destroy everything he'd worked for. You see, Rock Hudson was gay. In a time when being openly homosexual could end your career faster than you could say, cut, Hudson went to extraordinary lengths to keep his true self hidden. He even married his agent's secretary, Phyllis Gates, in what many saw as a desperate attempt to maintain his straight image. But here's where Hudson's story gets really heartbreaking. In 1985, he became one of the first major celebrities to die from AIDS-related complications. Suddenly, the world was forced to confront the reality of who Rock Hudson really was and the struggles he'd faced throughout his life and career. Hudson's death was a turning point. It brought unprecedented attention to the AIDS crisis and shed light on the hidden lives of many stars from Hollywood's golden age. People started to question everything they thought they knew about that era of glitz and glamour. Think about it. How many other stars might have been living similar lives, hiding their true selves from the world? Hudson's story opened up a whole new conversation about the pressures these icons faced and the lengths they went to in order to protect their careers and public images. But Hudson's legacy isn't just about the secrets he kept. It's about how the revelation of his true identity changed our perception of an entire era of film. Suddenly, audiences were looking at those old movies with new eyes, wondering what other truths might be hiding behind the polished facades of their favorite stars. The impact of Hudson's story rippled through Hollywood and beyond. It contributed to ongoing discussions about representation and acceptance in the entertainment industry. His struggle became a catalyst for change, pushing for more openness and diversity in an industry that had long thrived on carefully crafted images and hidden truths. Today, when we watch a Rock Hudson film, we're not just seeing a handsome leading man romancing his co-star. We're seeing a complex individual who brought depth and nuance to his performances, perhaps drawing from his own experiences of living a double life. It adds a whole new layer of meaning to his work, doesn't it? Hudson's story, along with those of the other stars we've discussed, reminds us that the golden age of Hollywood wasn't all glitz and glamour. It was a time of profound struggle for many, especially those whose true selves didn't fit the narrow mold of what was considered acceptable.